Dungeon Masters of Reddit. What is the most surprising thing your players have done in-game? When presented with a jailbreak mission, they didn't attack through the sewers, over the walls, or through the main gate. Instead, they got jobs at the prison as janitors, cooks, and jailers. Motherfucker, that's called a job. And then after we served our time, we just walked out the front door. Similarly, my buddy was DMing a campaign where our party had to break out of a prison mining camp at the start. He had thought of every way for us to get out except one. We decided to dig our way out, and he was completely blindsided by this. During an adventure to an elven city, one of my players started a sundial wristwatches pyramid scheme. SOB managed to pull it off with high charisma rolls. Now it's a running joke throughout the campaign. Everywhere the party goes is a sales opportunity for sundial wristwatches. Inspiration to us all. So we get advantage on our rolls? Not a DM here, but my group once did a pretty cool thing. So, my character was a sorcerer and got petrified by a goddamn basilisk. Now, instead of finding a diamond, or whatever it was, to unpetrify me, they sold me as a statue for a good amount of gold. I had to make a new character. My friends are dicks. On the bright side, given how other stories unfold, your old character is likely now being worshipped as a deity, and will return to smite your old party after enough blood sacrifices are given to bring him back from the dead, complete with dark forces at his disposal. When Mythic came out in Pathfinder, I had my players pass through a golden wall. One of them was judged unworthy. As he wanted a new character anyway, I said he got turned to gold. Huge mistake. I assumed they would leave him there due to his immense weight. Nope. The party spent weeks IRL doing calculations about his exact value and weight, then cross-referenced that with drag abilities, and then melted him into fucking slag to sell. It was upwards of 86,000 gold. And the party balance was fucked forever after. Oh, I should mention this happened at level 3. I heard one YouTuber say, "We encountered an undead that deals freezing damage to anything it touches. They managed to take its head off, but since it's undead, it continues living. They used its head to make a club-like weapon that talks and deals freeze damage. Once we encountered a shrunken head that could talk. I ended up adopting it and reading it The Art of War, and shit like that for months. Eventually I found a pole, stuck the head on the pole, and convinced my DM that because the shrunken head was well versed in combat tactics, this counted as battle standard of might. From then on, Philip the shrunken head gave us +1 to damage by shouting encouragement and advice from the top of a stick. We did a similar thing once with the necromancer. He couldn't be killed, so we decapitated him and impaled his head on the bow of our ship and sailed away while his body slowly swam after us. Eventually, we made friends with him, and the head became our watchman confidant, until one day his body caught up with a boat. Edit. So here's what happened. Sorry I made food, didn't think anybody would see this. One night, while we were in a harbor, the body swam up to the ship. It climbed up and reclaimed the head, and we all started panicking. Half the crew thought he would still be our friend, but the other half attacked him. So I joined in attacking him since I'm an idiot, and we were losing bad. So I used my flaming rapier and convinced our cleric to cast grease on the necromancer. He does this and I decapitate him again, but I start a massive grease fire. So now his head rolls off the ship, everything's on fire, everyone is shouting at me, and the necromancer's like, "Dude." And the short of it is, I ended up destroying the ship. Half the crew deserted and we lost our treasure. Frowny face. Good news was the necromancer survived, again, and is still our friend. The game is ongoing, so when my DM gets back, I'll have to redeem myself. I gave my players a little more free will than a typical story arc, just to see what would happen. They inevitably went evil, ransacking every town, becoming a roving band of bandits, torturing key NPCs for info. When they got to a major city, they couldn't walk through the main gate because of the bad reputation they gained. So they snuck in, took the king hostage, and launched him over the walls from a catapult claiming the city. When they finally met the main antagonist of my story arc, instead of killing the Dark Lord joined the party because the party gained an incredibly evil reputation. It was a hilarious story arc. Player: I cast Death Spell. Me: great. Do you target the cultist swinging the golden ritual sickle, or the one holding the screaming baby? I target the baby. Me: no baby equals no sacrifice equals no ritual. Clever move. How'd you figure it out? It went quite well for them. The encounter was a ritual intended to either summon or bar the return of the Elder Gods. and any human sacrifice would gain the actor a sudden rush of bonus power. The basis of the campaign was that they existed in an evil universe where the 9 alignments were literally forces of nature just as much as the 4 forces of fundamental interaction and the 5 elements, except that evil had won the inevitable Armageddon many thousands of years ago. This was both fun to play as well as being an experiment on my part to see just how debased my players were willing to roleplay. The previous week, the same player who death-spelled the baby had the quote of the session when he said, "Look, I'm just not trying to roleplay murdering a 5-year-old. And then the next week, there we were. Mission accomplished. Devil emoji. My players once pooled all their cash at about level 4 to buy a tavern and retire instead of following the plot any further. That was it. Campaign over. They decided to play medieval fantasy It's Always Sunny. Let them have their 15 minutes of fun. Then, after a few weeks, a neighboring tavern or crime syndicate sees their new purchase and starts pressuring them for insurance money. The rates they charge continue to increase day after day, week after week, to the point that either their tavern goes broke or they need to fight back. The guards are in on it, so there's no help there. If they try to go back to their tavern life after doing anything of note to the opposition, either the guards show up due to their crimes, or a group of adventurers if they've taken care of the corrupt guards. We played it as a sandbox game for a little while. We had a ton of fun with it as we didn't take it too seriously. But after just 2 more sessions, we decided to do a new campaign, because the heavy urban setting wasn't what the group wanted. They originally purchased some ale from the tavern and poisoned it to try to get past an estate guard, then worked frantically to lie or bluff to buy time and frame the tavern owner and his family for the poisoning, then decided to settle down and go straight after that close brush with the law. I could have railroaded them all back on track, but I thought it was a fitting ending for a party that had a hard time clicking in-game and a campaign that wasn't going very well. From time to time, I drop that same tavern, operated by both those former PCs, into my campaign. Sometimes it's populated by other PCs from past campaigns I remember fondly. It's always a delight when someone recognizes their old character. I even keep the old character sheets so the stats and gear are the same. Fuck. Now I'm sad remembering all the players I've lost touch with and realizing that nobody will ever recognize more than half the faces in my favorite location again. Sort of sad face. They attacked an army. Literally. Not sure what their end goal was, but 5 players taking on 10,000 plus orcs is not the way I would have gone. Shot the module we were playing, and had to improvise for about a month. We never did get back to the original story. Edit. No, they did not win. They were swarmed by 100 or so orcs, and the orc captain was impressed with their fighting capabilities. They were imprisoned and used as practice for a few weeks until the thief convinced an orc to join them and they escaped. They were pursued all over the countryside until the opposing army finally arrived. From what I remember, this was better than the original module. My players saved a bartender's daughter from cultists, as well as other townfolk, returned to town, sent everyone home, and walked the girl to the tavern. Entered the door to the tavern, talked to a person coming out, got distracted. Took the bartender's daughter with them through 17 sessions and taught her how to be an archer against her protests of wanting to go home. Alright, thanks guys, I've got it from here. No, we must bring you to your father and nothing less. Come along, this will only take a moment. I'm really sorry, Ms. Bartender. We didn't see this ambush coming either. Just stay back and make sure not to get hit. I can see the tavern's light. Can't I just walk over there? No, don't be unreasonable. The city is a dangerous place. Roll initiative, please, will you? We're really sorry, Susie. They're on a first name basis by now. But these men and women are trying to overthrow the king. It is our, and your duty as a citizen of the realm to prevent this. Can you just hold on to this? I need both hands to cast my spells. Pointy in towards the bad guys. This always happens to my group. Of course your basic laborer is making like a silver a week or something. So when they offer Jim the crate unloader a job of 1 gold a month, he's like, hell yeah, I'll watch your horse and wagon while you go into the dungeon. Then they start training him how to use a crossbow, then teach him how to brace a spear. Next thing you know, one of the players dies and they decide they want to play as Jim the Crate Mover. We had a campaign where the DM set a super dangerous and booby-trapped dungeon right next to a city. So we would hire guards from the city to go with us on their off time. Eventually, we got a formal decree demanding that we stop hiring guards because they were all dying. Never had to pay them though. There was a door that responded to sound. The idea was that you had to make enough noise to unlock the door, but there was a monster, specifically a stringy-haired ghost girl, that would hear the noise, be alerted to the party, and attack. After not finding a way into the room, One of my player characters started venting his in-character frustrations at the door, which started to open the lock since it was a lot of noise. Seeing it work, my other player characters started to cry and scream their deepest regrets, angers, and hopes at the door. This went on for a while, with half of my player characters having in-game existential crisis. The door eventually opened, and the ghost girl never attacked out of a mixture of pity and empathy. So what do you guys think? What's the most surprising thing your players have done, if you've in fact been a DM before? Why don't you let us know in the comments below? And, like always, leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and if you enjoyed my voice, why don't you go and check out my channel. It's called Spaghetti. I make ridiculous videos, and you might get a laugh out of it. I'm just saying. Maybe a nice little cheap laugh. But I'll see you guys later. Hope you guys have a good day. Peace.